Good morning. Good morning. We have made it to Monday morning. We've made it. It is Monday morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing this morning? How you doing this morning? Hey, if you have not been with me for the last few weeks, we have been talking about just self-development. We've last week we was talking about self-awareness. It was a great week. It was a great week for me. Before I begin this morning, for those that don't know me, I am your coach. I'm Coach Tawanda. I'm a called and certified personal development and goals coach, best-selling author, best-selling self-published author, and I'm the podcast host of Talks with Tawanda. It's a space just for healing, believing, and walking in purpose. So we are here today. Before I get started, I just want to take a moment to invite you to my upcoming workshop where we will walk deeper into habits, alignment, and personal growth. If this series is speaking to you now, when we get to talking this morning and it's speaking to you, I want you to go ahead and click the link in the bio. Go ahead and grab your seat. The next workshop will be December the 15th. I am so super excited. I will be sending out boxes today for those that have already gotten their tickets. And today is the first. So guess what? Today is the day for the first kickoff for the workshop. So I'm super excited. I'm not going to bring too much energy this morning because I have a lot of energy that I need to spread for this afternoon, save for this afternoon. You heard me? Hey, Alexa, turn off, please. We're going to go ahead and have Alexa to go on and sit down this morning. This is a great week. What we're going to be talking about this week is something that a lot of people I feel avoid, but we're going to go ahead and talk about it this week because it is important. It's very important to our healing journey. It's very important to our personal growth journey. When you're talking about self-awareness, it's important to that as well. It all ties in together. You can't change what you ain't going to claim. So, yes, we're going to be talking about accountability. We are going to be talking about taking 100% responsibility of your life. Too often we are given the credit to other people. Our life sits the way it is because of other people. But this is the moment in time where we are going to allow ourselves to be responsible. I'm just allow ourselves to take accountability because it helps us grow. It helps us see the things that we need to change. It helps us see life and how we are showing up in life. And we're just going to talk about it. So come on, come on, come on. Good morning, good morning, good morning. If you're with me, just go ahead and tap that screen, show a little love, and let's go ahead and get with it. I want to welcome y'all to day one. We're going to be talking about this all day. When I come through, we're going to do it for 5 days so I can break it down and you can get the information that you are needing to get. So this entire week, we're going to be talking about accountability. Yes, accountability, responsibility, accountability, they are the same thing. But we're just not going to talk about the kind that's on the surface. We're going to talk about the kind of responsibility that shifts your whole life, the type that puts you back in position of power. I want you to understand when you're not accountable for your own life, if you're not responsible for your own life, you're losing power. You're giving away your power. So this week, we're going to do what? We're going to get our power back. This week, we're going to come through with the accountability and the responsibility. Why? Because we are not walking into this next season of life powerless. We are coming to get our power back. So one of the biggest misconceptions in taking responsibility is blame. A lot of people think when you're talking about being responsible for we're talking about your own life. We're not talking about Jody and them life. We are talking about your own life. We are talking about the decisions you make and how you show up. And sometimes a lot of people think taking responsibility equals blame. It doesn't. It doesn't. Responsibility means ownership. It's ownership of your choices. It's ownership of your habits. It's ownership of your decisions. It's ownership of your boundaries. It's ownership of your reactions and your standards. So it's not about blame. Responsibility, I've had many conversations. I'll share a little bit here when it talks about, you've heard me say, yes, I've been married a couple of times and Yes, it was some things that went on in those spaces that, of course, I don't agree with. Of course, I didn't like. They didn't feel good, all those things. But walking out of that space is one of the things that helped me really heal and grow from those spaces is being responsible. Being responsible, if for nothing else, not for their actions, but for me allowing myself in the space to where I didn't allow myself to stand on my boundaries. I didn't allow myself to understand my worth. I allowed myself to accept things that I should not accept. It just is what it is. So, what they're responsible for what they've done, I'm also responsible for what I allowed. You can't change what you refuse to claim. If you can't heal what you refuse to face. If you don't want to face it, you're not going to heal it. If you're not going to claim responsibility, ain't nothing going to change. You cannot grow while pointing outward instead of inward. Inward. We are so often, it's easy. Let me go ahead and tell you because I was here. There's some things that I had to grow from. And one of those things that I had to grow from is responsibility. I had to be, either I'm going to be responsible for the decisions that I make in life or I'm going to give that to somebody else. And I don't think, according to how life has been in those moments, in those seasons where I was not responsible, where I did not take accountability, yeah, it didn't sit quite right. I ain't like it. I did not like it at all. Have you heard of E plus R plus O? I ain't hear about it until I heard about it. If you have not read Jack Canfield's book, The Success Principles, it teaches us something simple, but it's so life changing. And when I got this information some years ago, when I was going through my journey of changing, healing, growing, and all the things, it made sense. E plus R equal O, it made sense. Let me go ahead and tell you what it is. E stands for event. It represents event. Um, I'm sorry. R represents response. O represents outcome. Event plus your response equals an outcome. It is what it is. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for the love over here on the ticker talker. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. The event is what happens to you, right? The event is what happens to you. You can't control that. That's out of your control. But your response is what you think, is what you do, and what you tolerate, and what you repeat. That is your responsibility. Your response is always your responsibility. Remember, the event is something you cannot control. Response, your response, oh, you have 100% plus 10 responsibility of that. You can control that. And the response is what determines your outcome. So remember, if you don't know about it, E plus R equals O. Go ahead and write that down. Keep it with you if you don't know about it, because as you go through life and it comes down and you're looking for a certain outcome, you're going to understand you're going to be met with some events. And according to those events that you are met with, it's going to require a response. And according to the response that you give to the event, it's going to show you the outcome. It just is what it is. You can have two people that go through the same situation, but their responses can lead them in completely different lives. So you just think about, you've probably seen it before where you may have had two children living in the same household, raised by the same parent, and we'll just use the space of dysfunction. You have two people that's raised in the same household, got the same, whatever it is, same events, so to speak. But those two people decided to look at it different. You have one that want to look at all the pain, look at all the blame, and have the blaming and all the things. They just want to hold on to it. But then you have another one that decides, I'm just going to do something a little bit better. I'm going to shake this. This is not going to be my life. This is just not where, it's just not going to last for me, right? So you can have the same two people, well, two different people, not same, but the same situation meet two people, and there's different outcomes. Why? Is because how they responded to them. They responded differently. So you can't change your childhood. Like, trust me, I am one that wish that I could, but I can't. It's an event. I can't change it. There's nothing I can do about it. It's an event. But I can change how I show up as an adult. That's the response. That's the power. You know what I'm saying? When you decide to respond differently, yes, okay, it hurt. It wasn't right. It didn't feel good. All those things, we know it. But you can choose to respond differently according to the event, and get the outcomes that you wish. Okay, growing up in a household and then my family is no shade, because I'm proud of my family. Like, we have our little moments, but there's a lot to be proud of in this space. But I will be honest, in our household, our education rate was not the best. It was not. Um, when it comes down to my parents did not graduate. A lot of family members that I did have, the graduation rate was very low. That's the event. That's how life was. That's what I was brought up in. But then my results, my response, I wanted to do something different. By doing something different, I went back. I got my GED, not a high school diploma, but I'm okay with my GED, baby. I'm okay with it. But then I went and got a business degree. I got an accounting degree, and then I have other certificates and things of with me. I could have said, okay, this is the event. This is just how life was, and this is just what I got. And stayed there. Or I could just make a choice to say, I want better for myself. That's response. You're responding differently to the situation. That's power. Because when I responded different, it allowed me to do things that gave me power. It allowed me to do things that advanced me in life. It was decisions I made. It's decisions that you make. So responsibility equal power, not blame. I'm just here to tell you, responsibility equals power, not blame. Let's go a little bit deeper. When you take responsibility, you shift from victim mode, yeah, into creator mode. You have to determine, if you're the main character of your life, you're gonna have to determine, do you want to be the victim or do you want to be the one with power? You got to decide. Life gonna decide for you, or you can decide for yourself. Because the moment that you take responsibility, you take back your power. The moment, I want to say it again, the moment you take responsibility, you take back your power. A few examples. If I created, you think about it, if I created this with my choices, I can create something better with new choices. So according to where you are in life now, you're there because of the choices that you have made. If it's a different outcome that you are seeking, you're going to have to do what? Make better choices. You're going to have to make different choices, and it's okay. It's okay. That's part of being responsible. That's part of taking responsibility of your life by saying, okay, these are the choices that I've made, and now I need to make new choices if I want a better outcome. If you allowed a certain thing in your past, if you allowed a certain thing in your past, if we allow that, then we could just choose new standards. Listen, there's a reason why I ended up in 3 marriages. That ain't what we ain't talking about, no marriages today. Mind your business, mind your business. But no, seriously, there's a reason why I ended up in 3 marriages. There were some things that I allowed. My standards. I had to set new standards for myself. Now, I don't care what you say. You can call it, I don't care. It's some names out there folk want to call it. It don't matter. But I guarantee you what? I am not going to get the same outcome that I have been receiving. I have been allowing myself to receive all the times before then. This is a new season. A new season is going to require you to do some new thinking. It's going to require you to do some new things. If the habits that I've had built the version of life that I have now, you hear me? New habits can build the next version. So you think about the habits that you have. Think about the habits that you're allowing yourself to gravitate to every day. Are they giving you the outcome that you really want? If they're not giving you the outcome you really want, what do you think you need to do? Come on, tell me what you're going to do. You're going to be responsible so you can get that shift. It's a shift. Responsibility is not about fault. It's about freedom. I had to learn that. There was a moment in life where it did feel like when taking responsibility of everything, when my marriages, did not work out, and, friendships didn't work out, jobs didn't work out, whatever the thing, it was so much easier in the moment. It seemed to be so much easier to blame somebody else. It seemed to be so much easier to just feel like, oh, it just happened to me. It's just life. But when I was responsible and I had to have self-awareness, take accountability of how I showed up in those spaces, it made a big difference. You can't get me to not be accountable. If I did it, I did it. If I'm walking in a space that's not conducive to where I'm going, then I need to fix that. It's not the responsibility of somebody else. I had a client who kept saying, I love her to pieces. I do. I love her to pieces. We have talked a couple of times about her coming to share a story because we have been rocking for some years. I love her because of her willingness to allow me to coach her. And I have been coaching her off and on through different seasons in life. And it has been great. One of our biggest breakthroughs was when I had this client, had her through one of our sessions. It was like she felt stuck because her family wasn't supportive. Like nobody supported her. That was her story for years. Well, I can't do this because of what somebody else is not doing. And, all the things, those things we do. We grow up and we don't have the support of family. Our mothers and fathers are not there to support. We don't have the aunties and uncles and all those things. And it makes us feel like we're alone. It makes us feel like, we don't, it's hard to just get through life. So for years, that was her story. But when we dug into it, the real issue wasn't her family. It was her responses. I could relate to her to a degree because now I'm not going to say I don't have no support in my family. We're not going to say that because that would not be true. Now, it could look a little different in sometimes, but I'm grateful for the ones that did show up, right? So, and there was ones that didn't show up that I really wanted, and that was my parents. But I could have used that space to just dwell on what they didn't do, what my parents didn't do, or I can just be okay with, who was showing up, who was making a difference in life, who was supporting. And sometimes we are focused on the ones that's not showing up. We forget about the ones that is. So it's a mindset shift. You have to shift your mindset. She wasn't setting boundaries. A lot of things that we realized in that space that she was so frustrated in that space that had her feeling like, she was so alone and she didn't have the support and she was so stuck. Well, she wasn't setting boundaries. No, that's what we need to focus on. We're not focusing on the family support. Let's check out your responses. She wasn't protecting her time. She wasn't communicating her needs. Nobody really knew what she needed in the seasons that she needed because she wasn't able to communicate them. She didn't allow herself to do it. She wasn't permitting herself to choose herself. It was moments where she was so available for everybody else, and she didn't allow herself to be in a position to focus on self. That's her issue. That's an accountability issue. That's something that she had to do and take responsibility. Okay, yes, we can look at this long line of who was not there, but then we can also look at this space. Okay, well, how can I show up different? Because at the end of the day, sometimes according to how, people show up in our lives and the life that we've had, we allow ourselves to kind of tumble over in that thing. No, let's be accountable for our life. At the end of the day, we have to be responsible for how we show up. That's with family, friends, foes, or whatever it is. When she stopped focusing, it was just so awesome because when she stopped focusing on what her family wasn't doing, guess what we started doing? Yeah, y'all got it. We started taking responsibility for what she hadn't been doing because of the lack that she was receiving within the family. It allowed her to think that that's what she deserved. So she wasn't setting boundaries. She wasn't being clear about what she wanted. She did not take the time for herself, and she wasn't communicating what she really needed because she didn't feel like she had a safe space to do it. But that's the space that she needed to create for herself. When she decided to take responsibility, everything changed. You'll have to hear her testimony herself, baby. I'm just here to share that little bit. I ain't gonna tell no names, anything, because baby, that's confidential. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you that was a shift. That is the power of accountability. When you stop focusing on the event and start adjusting your response, you create a new outcome. You're the middleman. You got to remember, you're the middleman. You're the one between the event and the outcome. The event is not going to make the outcome. It is your response that's going to give you the outcome that you need. Life doesn't shift until you realize that nobody's coming to save you. Nobody coming to fix you. Listen, for myself, I'm just going to be honest. I know I'm not the only one, but this you already know me. If you've been looking, you know that I'm just gonna be real with it. This is a moment of transparency. Transparency. I was that person that said at times, "Oh God, send somebody to help me." I'm just gonna be. I have to laugh through it now because I remember those moments, like waiting for somebody to come fix some stuff. Nobody was coming to save me, y'all. Nobody was coming to push me. Nobody was coming telling me to get up out that bed and go ahead and do what needed to be done. Nobody was motivating me. Nobody was making me choose better. I had to sit in a hard truth that I wasn't waiting on people who didn't have the capacity. Listen now. That's what that waiting do. When you waiting on somebody to come save you, when you waiting on somebody to apologize for the thing that they did and all that, you waiting on somebody that don't have the capacity. You are looking for closure from people who wasn't capable of giving it. And you was expecting support for some folks that couldn't provide it. We are around waiting on somebody else to show up and they don't have it. They don't have it to do. So what are you going to do? That's the question you need to ask yourself. So if you're waiting, if you won, I'm just going to say it could possibly have only been myself. It could have been, it's possible. And I'm okay with that because I know that I was waiting for somebody to come do it through and do a thing. They ain't had a capacity. I was waiting for people to apologize. And, when things didn't work out and they acted a certain way or did a certain thing, I was waiting for what we always say, closure. We're waiting on closure. They weren't capable of giving closure. They didn't have the capacity to do that. Mm-mm. I was waiting for support in the people that was around me that I had expectations for supporting me. Guess what? They couldn't provide it. They couldn't. The moment I stopped waiting, I decided to become the main character of my own story. So if I'm waiting on anybody, it's waiting on me to get up and do what I needed to do. It's waiting on me to give myself the closure that I needed. It's waiting on me to give myself the support that I needed. And yes, when you're talking about support, it is great to have people around to support you. I am grateful for my support team. But at the same time, you have to be your number one supporter. And that is going to be the shift of how you think, how you show up, how you respond. Remember, event, response, outcome. When I started taking responsibility for how I showed up, for what I allowed, for what I kept giving chances to, for the standards that I accepted, for the boundaries I did not set, for the habits I kept repeating, that's what we're talking about. That's accountability. You are responsible for those things. You're responsible for how you show up. You're responsible if you're going to have boundaries, set them or not. You're responsible if you're going to have standards. No one, I don't want no one to set the standards for me. I need to set the standards for myself because I know what it is I want and what I need. When those moments for myself, when I said to myself, in those moments that I was accountable, I was responsible, I had that moment with myself of just being aware of who I was, where I was going, whose I belonged to, and all those things, life started to shift. I'm telling you, when you allow yourself in the space of being responsible for your life, it's got to shift. It's not going to stay the same because in that moment of you taking responsibility, guess what? You are responding to things different. Remember, event, response, outcome. Event, response, outcome. Event plus response equal outcome. Come through. Good morning. I'm going to take a moment just to reset the room. I see other people coming in. TikTok, YouTube, I love you. Thank you for being there. For those that don't know me, I'm Coach Tawanda. I'm a personal development and goals coach, called and certified. I'm a bestseller author, and I'm a podcast host of Talks with Tawanda. Just creating a space for healing, believing, and allowing us to walk in purpose. This is the season where we just go ahead and start shifting some things. And the way that we shifted is the way that it's by how we choose to show up and move. I'm just saying, good morning. When I allowed myself to see myself in my decisions and my responses, it shifted. It wasn't because, the situation just magically got better. No, it's because I got better. It's because my mindset changed. It's because I became responsible of my own life. I decided that at the end of the day, my story was going to be written. And if it's going to be written, I want to be the one. I'm the main character. So how am I going to portray myself in the story that is going to be written? It's my life. It is your life. It is your life, and your life is your responsibility. Now, it may seem easy to give the responsibility over to somebody else, but hey, I'm just saying life became much easier for me when I became accountable. My expectations changed. My actions changed. When I became the woman who said, look, I don't like this outcome. Like, I don't like how this is showing up. I had to choose new responses. That's when God started opening doors and connecting me with rooms that I had prayed for. I had been praying. I had realized I had been praying for some things, but because of how I was responding to things, I was blocking my blessings. I was keeping doors shut. Opportunities wasn't flowing through the way that they needed to flow through because my response to situations was not. It was not. It wasn't working. It wasn't working for me, people. It was not working for me. Taking responsibility, it doesn't mean that life is going to be easier. That's another misconception. It made me stronger. Life ain't easy. Life be life for me just like life be life for you and everybody else. But I became stronger. I became stronger because I became responsible. So I knew that the decisions and the things that was going on in life, I had to stand up. Good morning, Ms. B. Good morning. I had to stand up and take responsibility. In order for me to have the life and the outcome that I wanted, I had to respond differently. Good morning. Good morning. That strength started showing up in my decisions. That strength started showing up in my confidence. That strength started showing up in my peace. That strength is what I carry with myself today, baby. When I became responsible, when I became accountable, when I allowed myself to just be honest with self, and how I showed up, how I wanted to show up, versus how I was showing up. I had to be responsible. I was the one to bridge the gap. I've had many conversations. Y'all have heard me say in other videos, many conversations about my marriages. And I just want to tell you something. One of the biggest ways, as I said earlier, one of the biggest ways I healed wasn't by pointing fingers or replaying the pain. It was about taking responsibility for what I allowed. I allowed myself to be in spaces. I allowed myself to get in those relationships. I allowed myself to accept things that I knew was not. It just I knew better. Let's just say I knew better. I had to sit with myself. I did, to wonder. I don't know about y'all. I don't know if y'all talk to yourself in that, but I talk to myself, and I will call myself by name because I need to know that I'm talking to me. You understand me? To wonder. You may not have caused everything that happened. That's the outcome. Remember? But you did allow different things. You allowed certain things to happen. That's the response. That heartbreak that came out from it, that's the outcome. You see? I'm responsible because there's certain things that I allowed. There's things that I ignored. There's things that I settled on. There's moments that I shrunk. There's moments that I stayed longer than what I should. Come on now, you're not going to be responsible for that. And the truth, it was hard, but it was freeing. I had to be responsible because I allowed that. Listen. I am not saying I am responsible for what a person done. I am responsible for what I allowed. Those two different things. Because sometimes you can say, nah, I ain't being accountable for that because I ain't do that. Okay, no. Listen. That first time that person did something, if you already got your boundaries in check, that's one thing that I had to learn. See, if you already got your boundaries in check, there's certain things that ain't gonna get past that gate anyway. That's being responsible. That's responsibility. That's your power. Y'all gotta forgive me. That throat was trying to get a little dry there. Bless it, Lord. Bless it. I didn't just take responsibility for what happened inside the marriage. I had to take responsibility for who I was before I even walked into the marriages. There was something about me. There was something that I was not allowing myself to sit with, heal from, or deal with that allowed me to walk into those situations. So it wasn't even about the marriages itself. How did I show up? Yes, I am wife material. Yes, I did the things that I needed to do as a wife. You can ask every last one of them. They'll tell you that was not the issue. The issue was what how I showed up. The issue was is what I allowed. The issue was those red flags and all those things that I looked over. I was responsible for that. Because the version of me that chose that relationship, good morning, good morning, good morning, Miss B. The version of me that chose those relationships, the version of me that accepted certain behaviors, the version of me that didn't have boundaries set, the version of me that did not allow myself the acknowledgement of the self-worth or the identity that I have today, baby, she needed healing. I can be honest. I woke up cute, baby, but I ain't wake up every day healed. That has been a journey that I am so excited about. And when I come into these spaces and I have these conversations, I'm literally taking you through seasons of life or things that I've had to do, things that I had to become aware of, things that I had to shift and change in my own life so that I can be the person that I really saw myself becoming. So I can be the person, I can be the creator of my story. And in order for me to do that, I had to be responsible for it. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. When I owned that, listen, it was powerful. Listen, listen, listen. When I owned that, I stopped blaming. You're not gonna hear me having a conversation about now. It's funny to me now sometimes because when I look back, I'm like, girl, now you know better. You know better. There is not an ex that I've had the marriages, and let me tell you, we have not got into what was actually done. We haven't even touched the things that I experienced in those spaces. I don't care to touch them. Now, if you really want to be nosy and really want to know what I had to go through, I don't mind telling you. I don't mind telling you because, and I don't mind speaking on it because I think that it would possibly change the way one would look at some things. But when I stop blaming other people, you know how you go, well, my mama and them did this, and the way my life was, the way my life was, I don't want to stay there. I had to be responsible. When I start replaying, now it's comical to me. You know what I'm saying? Not comical to the point of, he ha ha, oh, I just love. No, it's not that. It's comical because I allowed myself in spaces. And when I sit back and I see, now you blame them folk for every goddamn bladder thing that you allowed yourself to experience and you did not take responsibility of. It was funny to me. It was funny how I sat for so long and I kept repeating the same thing, repeating the same thing. I'm repeating the same thing, but blaming different people. How does that work? It don't work out. It don't make sense. When I stop carrying the story like a weight, that's why you'll hear me sometimes. I ain't laughing, be funny or fake when it comes down to the things that I've dealt with. I smiled and my heart is happy because the things that I actually grew through, the things that I actually healed through, the things that I allowed myself to be accountable for, the things that I allowed to shift in my life because of my thinking and how I chose to move, how I chose to accept responsibilities and not sit back blaming the next person. Good morning, good morning, good morning. When I stop seeing myself as someone else things like someone that things just happen to, you know what I'm saying? You know, like I'm always every time I turn around. Okay. When I stop seeing myself as something that things just always happen to and start seeing myself as the woman who learned, who evolved, who leveled up, I'm telling you, it's gonna shift. It's gonna shift, y'all. I'm telling you, life is going to shift. Remember, why would it shift, Coach Tawanda? Because you have the event, those things you don't have no control over. But then you have the response, the things you have 100% control over equals your outcome. It's gonna have to shift. You are the middle person, and in the middle, that person that stands in the middle, that bridge the gap between the outcome, the event and the outcome, is the response. How are you gonna respond to life? How are you going to choose to respond to life? Okay, life hurt you. Are you going to continue to respond in a hurt manner? Or are you going to allow yourself to process the space to heal? I'm just saying. The level of accountability is what helped me heal through those spaces that was some of the hardest moments of life. It wasn't halfway. It wasn't temporary. It was completely. I completely changed things in my life. Yes, I am still growing, y'all. I am not saying that I am perfect, baby. I ain't nothing perfect, baby. I'm trying to tell you, I am human before I am anything else, but I'm healed. I'm healed. That's important. That was very important because once I saw my part, once I saw how I showed up, once I saw what I expected, I accepted. Once I saw me, I could rewrite my part. If I was showing up with low self esteem, guess what? Go sit with yourself. I'm just going to say this is what I did. So I'm just going to talk to you about what I did. When I allowed myself to sit in those spaces with low self esteem and I saw the outcome, and the outcome is something I wasn't liking, because I saw what I had to do something different. I had to rewrite my part. So how was I going to show up? No, I was going to sit down and deal with myself. I was going to sit down and heal those parts of me that was broken. Once I owned my choices, I could finally choose differently. Once I owned my choices, I'm responsible for the choices that I make. And once I own those choices, I can move a little bit differently. Once I took responsibility, I took back my power. So all I'm saying to you today, this is all I'm saying. This is all I'm saying. Accountability is not what you may have been thinking it is. It is not. It is not judgment. It is not saying that you're wrong. It is not saying that, the next person is right. It is saying that you are rewriting your story and you are not going to be the victim. You can play the victim all you want. I don't want to be the victim in my story. I don't want to be the victim in my life. I am not the victim. A victim is powerless. So when you think about all the blame and all the complaining, and we're going to talk about all those things, we're going to break them down throughout this week. So I ain't going to run too much into it, right? But when I decided to take responsibility, I decided to take back my power. The more I blame the next person, if I walk out of it, it's just like this right here. Let me paint this picture as best I could. You get into a relationship, the relationship is not good. It's a bad relationship, abusive or whatever it is, right? Why wouldn't you be responsible for staying in that space? Sometimes we're staying in spaces longer than we should be. We still allowing ourselves to be connected to people that we know don't love us, that we know don't respect us, that we know don't care. And we decide to stay there. And then what happens is we leave that space and we start sitting down and we think about all the things this person done, all the things this person said, and we allow it to continue to sit in our heart. Then we start judging ourselves based on it, thinking that we the issue, and all these things that come up with it. You've been there. If you've been there, you've been there. If you're not, it's not for you. I'm just saying. When I decided, and when you decide to say, you know what, actually, I'm responsible because I could have been left this situation. I could have been distanced myself from this mess. I saw, you ever been sitting and you go through this relationship or whatever, and then you look back and you say, you know what? That was a whole red flag. Cause see, the same red flag that's bothering you now, that same thing that got you all in the uproar now, really is the same thing that was pretty much happening at the beginning, but you just chose to ignore it. Why wouldn't you be responsible for that? Now, it's not being responsible to say, oh, well, I the one messed up. It's being responsible to say, oh, this is how I showed up, and just making the choice to do something different. Let's go ahead and keep on going. I just want a little engagement. If you want to engage with me just a little bit on a scale of 1 to 10, if you're here with me, you're here with me. How responsible do you feel your current life is? On a scale of 1 to 10, go ahead and drop it in the chat bar for me, in the chat for me. I just want to know. Now, you can say I'm always talking about mind your business, and you can say I'm being a little nosy, but it's okay. I'm okay with being nosy right now because I want to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how responsible do you feel your current life is? Come through, Miss Parks. Come through. Now, you ain't even gotta say it if you don't want to say it. I ain't gonna push nobody because I'm responsible for what I decide to accept and not accept. Go ahead and drop a fire if you can drop a fire if you're ready to shift something this week. If you're just ready for a little shift, even you just in this space, you know what? There are some things I can work on. because this is not a moment of judgment. Remember, when you're sitting down with me, we ain't judging, baby. We just acknowledging so we can move forward. We ain't judging what we going through. We are looking at it and we are making decisions that's going to be better for us to go forward. That's it. That's it. Now be, listen. See, see, see. I would love, I would love to, I would love, I would love to. Woo, Linda. Listen, I would love to blame the casino for asking me to borrow my money. But I'm responsible. I'm responsible for sitting at those tables. I would love to. And for YouTube over there, you're probably wondering, but my travel buddy is over here on the other line, and we do some dangerous things in the casino sometimes. And I would love to. Let me tell you, let me tell you, baby, I didn't let them folk borrow some money in that casino. Ooh, ooh, I would like to just blame it on the machines. Although I do feel like it's a low-key setup, but then I have to that eco came through for sis, don't it? Listen, I did. I messed up so bad they had to send me a black card, baby, and say, here, look, come on through on us. Come on through on us. But I would like to blame the slot machines and stuff because I think this is kind of rigged. You know what I'm saying? Then they have all the little lights and carrying on. Then you be walking by the thing and it's like and all this stuff be going on. I can point it all out, but I am responsible for sitting at that machine because I clear. If I say I'm only going with $500, then I should just go with $500. I shouldn't go with 10K and all that stuff. That I'm responsible. We ain't talking about that. That's not what we're here for. We here because we making better decisions. So the event is the casino. My response is being responsible. And my outcome is I ain't gonna let the casino borrow as much money as I usually let them borrow. I'm just saying, I gotta be accountable. I have to be responsible. Throughout this week, y'all, I am teaching on the same foundation that I coach my clients, that I have walked through myself, these moments of responsibility. The moments, who's responsible? She said, who's responsible for the fake person that was in the bed? It's me. I was responsible. I explained what she's talking about since she put it in there. So that one night, that one morning that I think I lost the most, what I did was I woke up and I snuck up out the bed and I put my pillows in the bed because we was not supposed to be going to the casino, and especially not that early. We supposed to be in sleep. But what I did do, I admit my fault. I admit what I did. I set my pillows up in the bed and made like I was still over there sleeping. I kind of put it big to make sure the butt was big because I got a little trunk back there. I'm just saying. And so, thank you, babes. Love you. Be safe. But I did. I was responsible for putting that fake person in the bed that morning that B woke up to thinking that I was still there. We were gonna go down together. That's why. Now I did hit a jackpot while I was down there, but I let the casino borrow it back. Yeah, it was. Don't quit telling my business, Brandy. Don't be telling nobody I be putting fake people in beds to sneak out the room. It got you though. It had you for a quick second. I want to just invite though, all honesty. Let me tell you, baby. That was that cruise. That was that June cruise too. That was that cruise. I spent my car money, y'all. I had to say all my money. I literally had saw the truck I wanted, everything. I was supposed to come back on that cruise from that cruise and go buy my truck, but the casino was like, oh, just let me borrow the money for a little bit and then I'll give it back. And I was like, okay. I was like, okay. Now, That wasn't 100% as planned. I ain't laughing about it like it was fun because I ain't going to do that one again. But baby, let me tell you, that eco, that black card that they sent, sis, they made it up. They going to make it up. 6 free cruises for the year. Plus some benefits. Y'all ain't, I ain't even going to let y'all know what the benefits is. We going to get it back. We going to get it back. They didn't already started. We good. We good. We good. We good. We good. But no, honestly, let's go ahead and get through this thing. If you want to go deeper, my workshop. Look, I'm trying to focus, but she got me over here all tickled inside. Cause we've been sitting this weekend. We've been booking cruises this weekend. We got what, three already on the book. We don't need like 3 more. I'm just saying, don't judge us. This is just what we do with our time. This is what we do. We want to take cruises. We're going to take cruises. And that's just it. That's the end of the story. But hey, what we talking about? We talking about being responsible. Now, when we do go on these next cruises, we're going to be responsible, okay? We're going to be responsible for the decisions that we make because we're going to remember what? We're going to remember the event. We're going to remember the response, and we're going to remember the outcome. But no, if you really want to go deeper into my workshops, I love these workshops. Why? Because I get to walk through the steps. I get to go a little bit more deeper than what I do on Zoom. Right here, I'm just sharing with y'all what I share with my clients. I'm sharing with y'all what I actually walk through, what actually helped me to just go through life. It wasn't always this way, and it hasn't always been easy. But what I will say, it is very, very much achievable. It is very, very much doable. It is very, very much your time, your season. We ain't gonna wait. We ain't gonna wait to start being responsible. We're not gonna wait to start changing how we move. We're not gonna wait to set boundaries. We're not gonna wait to take those moments to sit with ourselves for self-awareness. We are not gonna wait to figure out what it is we value. We're not gonna wait to understand our identity. These are things that we have been talking about over the last few weeks, and they're all foundations of who we are. Not just who we are, but where we're going. Where do you see yourself? What do you have vision for yourself? These things are important to know. Why? Because why not? Just why not? I don't even think we should be asking why to that question. Why not want to be better? If you're tired of hurting over the things that of the past, and those things of the past that you're allowing yourself to continue to hurt over is keeping you from going into the future, being and having what it is you want, why not? I'm just saying, why not? Listen, if you want to join me, and this is why I like the workshops as well, because where I get to talk to the mass, I get to talk and just speak in general. In these moments, there's real life question and answers that goes on. And if there's something that's really pricking at your heart that you don't understand, I'm in a position to be able to answer them for you and help you with your particular issue, because everybody is on different levels. Everybody ain't on the same level. Everybody ain't hurting in the same way. Everybody ain't dealing with things the same. But I guarantee you that there's something that's going to be in that space that's going to help you go deeper. It's going to help you to get from where you are to where you're looking to be. There is a link in my bio on TikTok and on YouTube. There's a link. And matter of fact, I'm going to go put the link in YouTube. I don't know how to really do it on TikTok. So y'all just bear with me. But I'm going to go ahead and put this link over here on YouTube in case you want to join me. I'm sorry. The next workshop is going to be December the 15th. We have one today. I am super excited for those who got their tickets today. It is too late to get a ticket today. It's okay. It's okay. It is too late to get a ticket today because I'm already ready for those that's going to come. But guess what? You can go ahead and get your ticket for the 15th of December. It will be 7 p.m. Central Time when we will meet. There's options. You got options. You got options. You got options. So go ahead and grab your seat. Go ahead and allow yourself to be in that space, because this is what you're saying. You're saying is the time is now. I'm not gonna wait, because we had that thing. I'm waiting. I'm trying to wait on the right time for me to write that book. I'm trying to wait on the right time for me to start that business and all that thing. Those things. No, the time is now. This is December the 1st, y'all. We got 30 days. Is it 30? what, 31 days in this month? 30, 31 days. We know, you know what it is. Don't depend on me to know, you know. But however many more days that we have in this month, we are preparing ourselves so that when we walk into 2026, we walking into 2026 already ready. We are not going to wait to get there to get ready. We should already know what we're doing next year. Like, listen, I'm just saying, if you have not sat down and you don't have it written out, I ain't talking about in your mind, because a lot of people want to keep stuff in your mind. Your mind ain't equipped to hold all the things and all the goals and all the visions and have it steadily waiting on you. You got to write those things down. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write down the vision, make it plain, so he who sees can take and run with it. So you're like, okay, Coach Tawanda, now you're talking about self-awareness and all this stuff, and the accountability and responsibility and stuff. And now you're talking about vision and goal, because we're going to do it all. Because in order for you to know where you're going, in order for you to be able to connect yourself with what it is that you're desiring to do, you're going to have to shift. You're going to have to be in alignment and being responsible, because the goals that you put on your board, the vision that you have to be responsible to carry it. Ain't nobody gonna come carry it with you. Ain't nobody gonna come carry it for you. You're not gonna sit there and expect mom and them to come save the situation. No, this is your time. This is your season. This is your life. You are the main character, and you are responsible with how you decide to write your story. It is just is what it is. So these dreams that you have, the vision that you have, they are your responsibility to carry. And if you have not already start putting these things in place, if you don't know where you're going, baby, just stand out the way, because say, I know where I'm going and I don't need nobody stopping the path. I'm just saying, now I know your path and my path is different, but just gonna stay on over there if you're not ready. But we should be walking into 2026 knowing what we're gonna do. We shouldn't wait till we get to 2026. Oh, it's a new year. Let me figure out what I'm going to do with my life. Baby, I now already start working on my goals. Nonprofit, from the things that I have on my list in October, I was already working on what I need to be doing in the next season. As I've completed the things that I needed to do in the season before, as I worked on those things, there's some things I'm still working on, and that is perfectly okay. Perfectly okay. But as I'm moving, I've already started. It was some trips that was on my board. I'm just saying. Guess what? I've already started planning them. I just did. There's some work that I needed to be doing. There's some things that I needed to be doing that I have on my list to do. Guess what? I've already started working on it. I am not waiting till 2026 to start saying I'm finna go ahead and do it. No, we already got some things on the books. I've already had some meetings to kick off some things that's going on in 2026. Listen, the time is now. Although even these things are going to be taking place and going full-fledged in 2026, guess what? I've already started working on them. There is a plan in place to help me maneuver and get from where I am to where I want to be. So, hey, I'm just saying, this is just the invite to you. So go ahead and click the link in the bio and meet me on December the 15th so that we can sit together and we can vision out your journey. But we ain't just going to vision out your journey. We're going to actually shift your mindset so that your mindset can align with that and what you're actually desiring to have. It's just that simple. You ain't got to do it by yourself. So go ahead and click that link, and don't be stingy, y'all. Don't just click the link and then you got homegirls and cousins and stuff that you rock with, and you ain't going to tell them to show up so they can get their life together too. See, that's just stingy. We ain't going to do all that. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We going to share the wealth, baby. Just like I'm here sharing with you, you going to share it with somebody else. So go ahead and take that link over there. Click that link. Get your seat, and then go ahead and share that link, because we ain't no gatekeepers over here. We gonna give it. Just like, honestly, the information that I give y'all, baby, my clients, they come through with the payments for the information that I give, because the information that I give, what I walk them through, actually changes their life. This is not a one-time thing. This is not, just going and buy something today and it's just for today. No, you can go buy a Happy Meal for the day, and that's just gonna be a day. But you buy you buy alignment, that's gonna be for a lifetime. I'm just saying. Just gonna give a quick rundown so we can close this thing out. I was trying to stay a little calm today because I got some stuff to do today, baby, and I need these vocals to just vocal with me, right? We was talking about ownership, responsibility, accountability, And the main thing I want you to understand and take from this place is this: responsibility means ownership. Ownership of your choices, ownership of your habits, ownership of your decisions, ownership of your boundaries, ownership of your reactions, ownership of your standards. We also talked about E plus R plus O, event plus response equals outcome. And we have no control over the event. We do have control over our response, and our response to the event will allow us to get the outcome that we really desire to have. That's it. That's it. I want you to understand now, you cannot change what you refuse to claim. Like, if you're not going to take accountability for the things that you have accepted, the boundaries you have not set, what you have allowed people to do, if you're not going to be accountable for that, then if you ain't going to claim it, you ain't gonna change nothing. Okay. If you cannot heal what you refuse to face, if you don't want to face those moments, I had a conversation with someone, and we finna get ready to close it out. But I had a conversation with someone that asked me about my marriage. This was a little minute ago, and I can't remember all the details of the conversation, but it was pretty much, we was in this conversation together, me and this young lady, and I think it was this thing of, I know she was talking about, how people just stealing her peace and all this and that. And, I ain't going to go into too much detail, but, and it was like, I don't know how the conversation came up about my marriage, where it was asked, like, would I take, like, my last husband, because it was like fresh out of that situation, like, would I take him back or whatever the case may be? And I said, well, no, I don't think so. And then, I was like, well, I accept, everything that went on, and I'm responsible for the decisions that I made. And if I had to be honest with myself, the decisions that I made to get into that space, I just rather make different decisions, right? And she said, but it's their fault that they did this and they did that. Yeah, they're responsible for that. That's not my business, though. Like, it ain't my business on how you show up. It's my business on how I respond to it. And me being accountable and knowing that at the end of the day, irregardless of what happened in that space, I'm not saying that I'm responsible for their actions. No, they're responsible, but I'm responsible for how I showed up. I'm responsible for how I acted, how I reacted. I'm responsible for what I accepted. I accepted some things, y'all, because my boundaries, I wasn't firm on. I'm not gonna blame you for what I allowed you to do when it came down to the identity theft. I'm gonna be honest with you. The young lady who stole my identity and did what did the 1-2 to my credit and stuff like that. There was actually a situation how I seen how she showed up in another situation with someone else. Sometimes we say, well, I'm gonna get a benefit of the doubt. You better quit giving them the benefit of the doubt to make people just stand up to be who they need to be. See, I need to see you act the way you need to act, so I could just go ahead and judge from that. I don't want to judge on no imaginary what you gonna do in life, right? But anyway, I saw some things, and when you look at the identity theft and how she played her role in that space, if the red flag was how it was no different to a degree, was a different scenario, it was no different than how she betrayed somebody else. But I looked at her different. That was my choice. That was my decision. I'm responsible for that. Because had I actually saw the situation for what it was and saw her for who she presented herself to be, none of the matter. Because sometimes, well, they ain't do me like that. Baby, it's their character though. They ain't done you like that yet. And I'm gonna be honest, that was one of the things in my mind, like, well, I've been rocking with her. I ain't had that problem. Not yet. I ain't had that problem to when I had that problem. So when I saw her do something to someone else that was not, and I didn't like the situation. Actually, I was around with the situation, but even me and the young lady who she did something to, we try to have that, we play that little sympathy card and try to give people the benefit of the doubt and things of that nature. That was my fault. Not what she did, but because I allowed her in my space to be able to do it. I trusted her where she was not worthy to be trusted. So actually, when you think about it, This young lady showed up to do exactly what she needed to do, and according to how she showed up in life, that was her. I should have had I was given the power of discernment. So I should have looked at that situation and said, no, now, baby, if you talk to the waitress any kind of way and all disrespectful, I'm gonna look at you sideways, because then it's gonna make me feel like it's just a moment in time. It's just a moment in time. So we have to look at people for who they are and not for who we want them to be. That's all I'm saying. So when it came down to it, yes, I am responsible to a degree for the identity theft. No, I didn't tell this young lady to do it. Man, we was eating at each other's table and everything. We had what I thought was a great relationship, a great friendship. I didn't tell her to do it, but y'all, I am responsible because I saw her movement and I still ignored it. That's what I mean by being accountable. And so moving forward, because I allowed myself to be in that situation, because I allowed myself to trust somebody that had already showed me that they was not trustworthy, I am responsible. When I took that and people asked me, like, I don't know how, no, we ain't friends. We ain't best friends. I ain't talked to her. I done sent prayers for her and things of that nature because I don't have no hard feeling. I don't have no hate in my heart. One of the things that helped me to get over that betrayal in that situation is being accountable that I put myself there. Like think about it. How can you know, I was, conversating with this guy one day. He was telling me how he had anger issues and stuff like that. And, how he'd have been anger management like 11 times. And I was like, okay, that's still okay. I'm gonna not call you back, sir. Thank you for your time. I'm gonna not call you back. Why? Because if you're already telling me you have anger issues, I don't care how cute you is or how low it hangs, I don't want no part of it. Because if you're letting me know that's what you're doing or how you are, we can't sit back and keep sitting back. Well, they ain't show it to me. Listen, through the conversations that me and this young man had, they was great conversations. But there was something under the surface that I was going to have to watch out for. So that's just being honest. So if I enter into that situation, knowing that this person has already told me that, and then he start displaying anger issues, you cannot tell me that I'm not responsible for that. You can't tell yourself that you're not responsible for that. It is our responsibility to discern the people and the things that we allow to enter into our space. Yes, we are responsible. I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying, remember the event, which is E, plus the response, which is R, equals the outcome, which is O. You're not responsible for the event. You can't control that, but you are responsible for your response. You can control that. And according to what you want the outcome to be, it is your responsibility to respond accordingly. That's it. That's it. I am excited. Tomorrow we're gonna be digging just a little bit deeper. Y'all gonna see. We're gonna bring this thing together because this is just a part of it. This is just a part of being responsible for your life, being the one that writes your story. If you are the main character in your story, why are you letting other people write the story for you? Go ahead and write your story. It's yours. It's your life. I don't care. Listen, I don't care. It may sound, I don't even know how it sounds because I can't quite remember how it necessarily sounded to me at first when it came down to that whole responsibility thing. Now, I will say there was maybe moments that I kind of felt like, I'm being blamed for something or whatever the case may be, but it's not really that. Taking responsibility of your life, being accountable for the things that you allow in your life is not blaming you, sweet baby. It's making you aware of the things that you need to change. It is not blaming you. Responsibility is ownership. You are owning your life. You are owning your decisions. You are owning your habits. These are your boundaries. You are owning them. Your reactions, you are owning them. Your standards, you are owning them. That's all taking responsibility and being accountable for your life. That's all it is. That's all it is. You're not being blamed for what Mama and them did. You're not being blamed for what Jody and them did. Ain't nobody saying because they did X, X, Y, and did. Love you, baby. Have a good day. Yes, ma'am. Lock that bottom lock. she gone, y'all. It's cold. It's Monday. It's 31 degrees out there. And y'all know on Mondays, baby, Mondays is optional for Miss T, baby. Now, I got some things on my list I'm going to do, but I have been in the house literally since Thursday. No, since Friday. Since Friday. I left Thursday for a little Thanksgiving, eat down at the folks' house, baby. Came home and have been in the house since then. And I just feel like I need one more day in the house. My body ain't ready to meet the cold. I'm just saying. But let's get back to it. Listen, all I need you to know and understand, when we're talking about this week, and if you follow up and we're talking about this week about ownership and responsibility, you're not being blamed for nothing. It's not to blame you. It's to aware you. It's to get you in a position to where you start owning your life. You start owning your story. You're not in a position no longer are you going to let somebody else be responsible for your life looking the way your life look. Mama and them ain't responsible. I'm telling you, I've been raising myself since 15 years old. 15 years old, I've been out of my parents' house. I didn't have that support. They're not responsible for how life turned out for me or how life is turning out for me. I'm responsible for that. I had to make a decision. I could no longer keep saying, oh, well, my family didn't graduate and my mom them didn't do this and my mom didn't. But am I them? How do I want to show up in my life? How do I want my life to be? I would not be in the position that I'm in, doing the things that I get to do, having the things that I have, and we are still growing. So don't be fooled. But I would not be on a path in which I'm on if I would not have taken accountability and responsibility of my life. It's not mama and them responsibility. They did what they did. We are not waiting. Listen now. We can't sit and keep on waiting for folks to show up for us. We are not the victim. You decide. Think about what a victim is. When you're blaming, when you're not being accountable, you're not being responsible, and you always thinking about what was done to you and who did this and who did that, you become what? The victim. Now you have to decide. Do you want to be the victim or you want to be the victorious? Is that the right word? Did I say it right? Yeah, because I just kind of threw that one in on a whim. Y'all know Coach T. Sometimes she'll slide stuff in there and it come out a little faster than what she was processing it. But no, seriously, responsibility is not about fault. Responsibility is about freedom. When going through life and the things that I went through, when I went through the molestation, when I went through the rape, when I went through the abuse in the household, I had a choice. I can continue to allow myself to sit in those spaces and be bitter. I continue to allow myself to be in those spaces, say, well, my mama and them didn't do it, so I gotta do it and all that. But then look at their life. Is that the life you want, or is there a certain life or a version of you that's waiting to meet you? I'm just saying, if the life that you have been living, because it don't really, I don't care what you think, the life that you have been living, you've been actually creating. So if the life that you have been living, that you are living, is still sitting in stress, it's still sitting in low self-esteem, it's still sitting in low self-worth, it still don't have boundaries set, it still don't have value attached, it still don't understand identity, your true identity. And we talked about last week, a lot of times we identify identity with titles. With your job or being a mother or being a wife or that's not your identity, sweet baby. Go ahead and watch the tapes for last week and you can catch it on YouTube, Talks with Tawanda, or you can catch the replays on TikTok. That's not your identity. Your identity is not in the titles that you carry, sweetheart. Your identity is in the heart that you carry. I'm just saying. It's the foundation of who you are. When you're by yourself, when you're to yourself, when you take off all those hats that you step in position for, that's your identity. That's who you are. So go ahead and look at those videos. So, because again, everything that I teach, everything that I coach on, everything that we're talking about is aligning us for walking in purpose. There is some things that we are trying to do. There are some things that we got to go. We got to get somewhere. And how we gonna get there? We gonna get there. We gonna get to a place regardless, but we gonna get there healed. We gonna get there ready. We're gonna get there accepting, being accountable, loving ourselves, past whatever it is that life has tried to throw our way. We just gonna do it. This is our season. That's it. That's all. How y'all doing today? Because I'm done. I didn't said it. If again, now I say I'm done. Y'all know, yeah, y'all be knowing I say I'm done, but then I think of something else. Listen, if you just catching me, All the replays are there. We have been on live for the last about a month and a half or so now. And every week is a new series. Just like I say, it's just self-discovery. It's who you are. It's allowing you to align yourself with who you are, whose you are, and where you're going. It's allowing us to be in a position to understand that the pain that we are experiencing, the hurt that we are experiencing, the bitterness that we are experiencing, we do not have to continue to hold on to it. And as we are releasing those things that no longer serve us, we're releasing those things that we no longer need to carry into our next season in life. What we are then doing, we are building up upon those some healthy habits. We are going to identify our vision. We're going to identify our goals. We're going to put a plan together. We're going to stay faithful, because standing on faith, baby, will get you so far. I'm trying to tell you. And we're going to continue to be motivated through the process. These are all things that we have been talking to. I want anybody here at the sound of my voice to understand this is not a moment for you to be feeling bad. This is not a moment for you to hear something and say, oh, well, I ain't never done or really was self-aware, or I ain't never, being responsible like that. Listen, that's not all I need you to know. All I need you to do is say, you know what? I need some work in that area. I can see where I can grow in that area. That's all you need to do. And from there, we got something to work on, because it's not about blaming. It's about acknowledging. And you can't change what you ain't going to claim. I'm just saying. So that being said, I think I'm done. Anybody got a question? Anybody got anything to say? Because I'm done. I don't got no more to say. I'm done. I'm literally done. I don't know. I'm just saying, TikTok. I'm just saying, YouTube. I love y'all. I love you for your time. I do pray that there's something that I've spoken that has hit your heart. I do pray, Father God, whatever I've spoken, as I'm always praying for myself, Father God, speak to my heart so my ears can hear. It's not a place of judgment. This is a place of growth. This is a place of growth. It is time, sweet baby. It is time. It is time to allow yourself to walk into the version of you that has been waiting on you, the healed version. There are some things there's some great things that's just waiting on you to just reach out and touch, to just step into it. And I say that just coming from a place, because I was in that place of stuckness. I was in that place of trying to figure it out, baby. I was in a place of bitterness, baby. I was in a place where I blamed everybody for everything. But coming from there to being who I am, I'm good. I sleep good at night, and except this sciatic get a little disrespectful sometimes. This little sciatic get a little disrespectful, and sis can't sleep the way she want to. But I ain't losing rest over not being unhealed. I ain't losing rest. The only pain that I got is this disrespectful sciatic, baby. My heart ain't hurting. I'm not bitter. I ain't got no ill feelings. I release any and everybody with love. That just is what it is. And how I'm able to do that, because I'm responsible for my life. And at the end of the day, it's not about what somebody did or did not do. Stop waiting for somebody to come and save you. Stop waiting for somebody to come and give you closure. Some people don't have the capacity, sweet baby. Some people just ain't capable. Sweet baby, some people that you want to support you, they just can't provide the support. They just can't do it. And so that's when you have to lower your expectations. You got to meet a person where they are. And when you meet them where they are, you understand what they're capable of, what they can and cannot do. You lower your expectation and you know how to shift. Move on. Yes, I'm going to be honest with you. It was a conversation. Me and my sister had a conversation even just recently. I told her, yeah, we probably expected our parents to do something different. I definitely expected my parents to do something different. But I also understood that they could only give what they knew and what they had. So for me to expect them to do anything different, yeah, those expectations is still going to sit there, would have been nice, but I'm not going to hold those expectations to them. I'm not going to hold that space so wide open to where I blame them as I could see. I'm a whole grown woman. I am a whole grown adult or big grown adult. There's no reason I should still be blaming mama and them for how life turned up. Like, there are people here now still bitter because of how their parents showed up for them as a child. Man, get over it. I'm not saying that to be funny. Get over it, because not getting over it is going to allow you to continue to just flip through life. It's going to allow you to continue to make decisions that's going to keep on hurting you. You're going to keep walking in the same hurt and pain that you're holding for your parents in your past, are the same hurt and pain that you're going to allow yourself to keep experiencing over and over again. You're going to experience it with relationships. You're going to experience it with friendship. You're going to just keep experiencing with yourself, because you're not going to allow yourself to be sitting in freedom. You're going to allow yourself to be bogged down by all this hurt and pain and things of that nature. I'm just saying, this is just a season for us to do something just a little bit different. I am so grateful for the time you have sat here this morning. I think my time is up. If ain't nobody got questions for me, then we can go ahead and end. YouTube, I love y'all. Thank you so much. I am praying that this journey that you are on is going to be a journey that's unforgettable. It's going to be a journey that allows you to live the best life that you can possibly live, being able to look back on life and smile and be joyful because of what you have grown through, what you have healed through, what you have overcome. You got it. It's in you. You can do it. I'm grateful. I'm blessed. You be blessed. Have an amazing rest of Monday on purpose.